Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Ever had a brilliant idea and wondered, could this be a real scientific discovery? The journey from a simple thought to a published paper that makes a real impact is one of the most exciting things about science, but let's be honest, it can also feel pretty overwhelming. Where do you even begin? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're mastering the art of scientific research writing step by step from that first spark of an idea to creating a paper that truly matters. So if you're ready to turn your curiosity into credible research, you're in the right place. The first and arguably most important step is choosing your topic. A great research project starts with great questions. Forget about trying to sound impressive for a moment and just ask yourself what genuinely interests you. What problems or puzzles do you see in your field every day? Maybe it's a process that doesn't quite make sense or a phenomenon with an explanation that feels incomplete. The best research often comes from a place of pure curiosity. Think about what keeps you up at night or what you find yourself reading about for fun. Once you have a general area of interest, start drilling down. Can you frame a question that, to your knowledge, no one has answered clearly before? This doesn't mean you have to reinvent the wheel. It could be about applying an existing theory to a new context or questioning a long-held assumption. Originality is key, and on a practical note, always check if the topic aligns with the requirements of your course, your department's focus, or the specific journal you might want to publish in. There's no point pursuing a fantastic idea if it doesn't fit the necessary guidelines. So you have a potential topic. What's next? You dive into the literature. The literature review is not just a chore. It's your reconnaissance mission. Its purpose is to understand what's already known about your topic and, more importantly, to find the gaps in that knowledge. Where does the current conversation end? That's where your research begins. A great place to start is an academic database like Google Scholar, PubMed, or Scopus. Search for keywords related to your topic and start exploring. As you read, don't just passively consume the information. Be an active, critical reader. Take detailed notes. What were the main findings of each study? What methods did they use to get there? Pay close attention to the limitations or future research sections of papers. These are often gold mines for new ideas. Ask yourself, what questions are still open? Where did the authors suggest the next steps should be? This process helps you refine your own ideas and ensures you are not just repeating work that has already been done. To avoid getting lost in a sea of papers, you need to stay organized. I personally love using tools like Zotero or Mendeley to manage my sources, but even a simple spreadsheet can work wonders. Create tables or diagrams. To map out what you find, you could have columns for the author, year, main finding, method used, and your own critical notes. Summarizing articles in your own words is a fantastic way to process the information. This organized approach will not only help you identify that perfect gap for your research, but will also form the backbone of your paper's introduction. Now, armed with a deep understanding of the existing literature, it's time to formulate your official research question. This is the single sentence that will guide your entire project. A strong research question needs to be specific, original, and measurable. It should be focused enough that you can realistically answer it within the scope of your project. Vague questions lead to vague answers. A great way to craft a sharp question is to use the who, what, where, when, why, and how framework. Let's look at an example. A broad topic might be the effects of the environment on yeast. That's way too big. Let's make it specific. How about how does temperature affect enzyme activity in yeast? Much better. It's specific. We're looking at temperature and enzyme activity. It's measurable. We can design an experiment to measure enzyme activity at different temperatures. And assuming we've done our literature review, it could be original. This single, clear question becomes your North Star, guiding every decision you make from here on out. With your research question locked in, you can move on to planning and conducting your research. This is where your idea starts to become reality. First, you need to decide on your overall approach. Are you going to be in a lab running experiments? Will you be creating and distributing surveys to a specific population? Perhaps you'll be doing field work, observing subjects in their natural environment, or maybe your research is based on analyzing existing datasets. Your choice of methodology flows directly from your research question. Once you've decided on the general approach, you need to select the specific methods and tools you'll use. If you're doing an experiment, what equipment is required? What variables will you control? If you're doing a survey, how will you design your questions to avoid bias? This section of your paper, the methodology, needs to be robust and detailed. Someone else should be able to read your methods and replicate your study exactly. It's the foundation of your paper's credibility. And remember, always follow ethical standards. If your research involves human participants or animals, you'll almost certainly need to get approval from an ethics committee or institutional review board. Finally, let's touch on a crucial part of your paper that you actually write first but polish last, the abstract. A well-written abstract is your paper's elevator pitch. It has a concise summary that grabs the reader's attention and tells them why your work is important. In just a few hundred words, you need to introduce the problem, state your research question, briefly describe your methods, highlight your key findings, and explain the significance of your results. A good abstract makes the reader want to dive into the full paper. It's a skill that takes practice, but mastering it is essential for getting your research noticed. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the initial stages of scientific writing. By now, you should have a clearer understanding of how to choose a topic, conduct a thorough literature review, formulate a precise research question, and outline your research plan. Remember, a great paper is built on a solid foundation. Take the time to get these early steps right, and the rest of the writing process will be so much smoother. We've covered a lot, but this is just the beginning of turning your ideas into impactful research. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you found this guide helpful. If you have any questions or if you want to share your own research ideas, please drop them in the comments below. I love reading them. And if you got value from this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content on mastering academic research and writing. See you in the next video.